Welcome to Bar Talk After Dark, episode 3. Yes, this is the third episode of Bar Talk After Dark. And this is where we spicy up the conversation, add some more dynamics to it, and so forth. So it's almost like Bar Talk, the regular that you can find on all social media websites. But Bar Talk After Dark is only exclusively full episodes here on the YouTube. So like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that Bar Talk After Dark and the conversation is a little bit more. And so, with that being said, Shreese, how are you doing at Bar Talk After the Dark? How are you doing today?
I love a bar talk after dark. I get to sit in front of the fireplace.
Yes, in front of the fireplace. So let's get started. Let's get started. So, peoples, this topic of conversation has been going on for a while, and we probably covered it on Bar Talk regular a few times too, and so forth. But I want to get more in depth with it, and let's get a little greasier with it. And with that being said, the greasiness, body counts. Now, since this old election cycle is about women and their choices of their bodies and so forth, now this body count is a choice of theirs and so forth, or what they like to do. So, with that being said, does does body count matter to women? So, Shreese, if somebody you have a conversation with, say you and Susie having a conversation about your life decisions, and Susie told you that she had a very high body count, you know what I'm saying? What would you think about her?
I'm gonna mind my business, okay? Because that is her business.
You
That is
might
not my
say
business.
nothing about it, but what you thinking about it is the question.
If Susie is a long term friend, I probably already got an idea of what her body count is, and I'm probably gonna take that and times it by two if it's really high, because
Right?
you probably only know half of that stuff your friend's been doing. So I might be like, okay, I knew her back when, because let's be for real. Just some people was out there back in the day. That don't mean they out there today.
Right. So you wouldn't judge on Susie's body count, that number she told you, and you were times about two. You wouldn't have nothing to judge and say, "Oh, Susie, what the world?" That whole phase you went through or whatever. Would you say anything, or you would just say, "Oh, okay, Susie, that's nice." You know what I'm saying? Who was the best? Would you? What would you say? I know you wouldn't say nothing. So what would you actually say?
I'm probably not gonna say not nothing, but I'm not gonna judge her on her body count either. That certainly is an intimate conversation, which people, this is why we do bar talk after dark, after hours, because these are sensitive topics. This ain't for your kids. If we're
Would,
gonna get into those conversations and somebody wants to share,
yes,
we
Susie
women.
sharing.
I mean, let's be for real. Women do say stuff every now on occasion, even if it's not something that you on the forefront talking about. Couple of these, you never know what somebody getting
Right.
ready to say.
Susie says she got
Everybody gonna let some
60.
stuff hang out.
She got 60 people. She got 60 bodies. So what would you say to her? Would you say nothing? Would you cut your pearls? I mean, what you
I'm
going?
not clutching no pearls because there's no judgment here. But if Susie want to keep saying, because we've been drinking, and now she like, girl, let me tell you, and Troy, he was the biggest, the baddest, whatever. We just gonna have those conversations. We've been drinking, so that's the kind of stuff that happens when you start having too many.
Right.
When you're not drinking, you may not go too far with that conversation.
So you would just take what she said, and that no, you would no follow up question like, oh, okay. Is that where you at with it?
Unless you telling me like I've been with 1,000 men,
So it
then
had to
I'm
be a
gonna have
absurd
some
number.
questions.
So it has to be an absurd
Well, if
number.
it's that high, then I might start going, girl, when, how, who, how many, in what period of time? I've been knowing you. When were you doing all of that? I mean, those kind of natural questions would
Mm.
happen because I like, okay, I've been knowing you for a long time. When were you, had time to do all of these people? And Did you get tired? Like, oh my God.
What?
Hey, I don't know.
Well, so she told you that she in turn had sex with three different dudes in the same day. Would that spark any questions from you, or you would just what I'm saying acknowledge it and keep passing? Where what I'm saying does it have to be an absurd number to ask these questions about the actual mechanics of it? I know you was asked about when you find the time. Don't you gotta go to work? You know what I'm saying, eat food or whatever. But is there a point where you would want to question like why, how, when, where?
It depends on how outrageous this whole conversation goes.
Mm.
You're gonna have some questions. Now, the problem is, are you gonna be comfortable enough to ask those questions? Because some people, you start asking questions, they feel like you starting to judge them, and they shut down.
Okay.
And then there are other people that's like, I'm not, no judgment here, but I really want to know what the heck did you do with three men at one time? So and maybe you don't want to know what somebody did with three men because you can only imagine what could happen with three men at one time, and maybe I don't want to know that, but though that depends. I guess it all depends because some people they'll say that, but then don't start asking them no questions. They don't want to give you no details.
All right. So what about the say Melissa's low body count? She got three or four. Do you in turn ask her why she hasn't been more friendlier or anything, or you just nod your head to her story too?
Why she got to be friendlier if she only had three or four? Maybe she had three long-term relationships and she wasn't a cheater. Why
Right.
that's got to be like something? There's nothing to be ashamed of either.
What if she doesn't have long? Maybe she's been single for the last 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So forth. Do you question her? You know what I'm saying? Her attraction makeup, or or you just nod your head and like, oh, okay, same as you do with the other girl that has the large count.
What does attraction makeup mean?
That she might not be attracted to men. She might like what I'm saying women or whatever. Do you question her low body count and gaps in time? Just like a gap in a
Well,
resume.
look, that could very well be the reason that, like, okay, let's be for real. So, especially women who don't want to leave their house and then they don't want to do anything to become more attractive. They may have a low body count for the last 10 years. And on the opposite side of that, you may have an attractive woman who does get around that has a high body count. I'm saying I'm not judging either one of them. If that's do you, boo, as they say, do you. I don't have no judgment over here.
All right. So what about men? Do you judge men with high body counts and so forth? Would you does he get the pass on? You know what I'm saying? I got 80 women. You know what I'm saying? So forth. Or do you look at him with the ire of judgment?
Now, look, if you tell me, especially if you're trying to talk to me and you've been with 80 women in the last 6 months, that's a no, sir. Because now you're not getting ready to make me 81. Okay, you're not getting ready to come and I'm gonna be a conquest because it's not gonna happen. You're gonna waste your time. You're gonna be mad at me, and I don't like you no more anyway. Because I'm wondering, was you just after these women to have this number to get a goal? Because let's be for real, guys do that. You all go after women. Don't act like y'all don't. I see you looking funny. Men do that. Like, oh, I got a goal of 20 this month or something.
Not
No,
20.
no, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So what
Okay.
what if it's over his adult life? You know what I'm saying? And so instead of the last 6 months.
First of all, who telling the truth here? Let's be for real. Do you really think a woman is getting ready to tell you, I've been with 50 men?
Some
Do you?
people,
Do you?
some people are upfront with it. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem? What's the hold back? You know what I'm saying? It's been 50, and just let it
Some
be.
people and men who think, okay, if they're looking at somebody who they deem number one is already out of their class, number two who possibly makes more money than them, number three they think that they don't have a snowball's chance in hell with you, then them come up and tell her I've been with 100 women because they know that's not gonna sit too well with a high class woman who looks a little more high value than what you normally deal with. That's not gonna depends on your audience. Cause that's not gonna work. Somebody will like, okay, you've been with 50, 100 women. So you're just a womanizer, or somebody who you deem is educated, or
Mm,
not that I'm saying uneducated people can't make those decisions too,
right.
but men put women on different levels,
Okay.
and when certain men see, they look at you on a different level, then they may not be truthful about that number.
Okay, well, I got you. You know what I'm saying? That's possible. I think that you know what I'm saying. I think it's one of those things where you know that I don't know. Maybe the body count. And I mean, I can see that how a man saying he got a high body count, a woman could be you know what I'm saying turned off by that. In a way of okay, you just out here just you know what I'm saying hopping women to women, or could you also turn it into like this person might be well experienced and making you know what I'm saying get you to points you might not have been before based on the experience. Does that come into effect if a man told a woman he has a high body count?
No, that ain't turning me on. I don't. Just because you got more women, don't mean that you did anything right. That meant you were good at talking their draws off of them. That don't mean that once you got there, it was a good time. So you were able to get these women into bed. That doesn't define what happened once you got there. So no.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. So let's cover the overall question. Does a man's or a woman's let's take it in half. Does a woman body count matter at the end of the day? What do you think? Does that number of partners matter?
You tell me you a man. Because for me, it don't matter. I ain't trying to sleep with her.
Right.
So you tell,
Yeah.
does it matter to a man?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put it out here this
And
way.
then she gonna tell you the truth.
I'm gonna put it out here this way. Here's my Robin Hood theory on a woman's body count. Here you go. Straight from me, Brandon T. About to go. So I look at it like this in phases. So a younger woman body count matters as a younger woman. It does matter.
Okay.
So say from 21 to 35. Your body count matters.
14 years. Can we just say from 20 to 35, 15 years?
Okay, 15 years.
Okay.
The first 15 year body count matters. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you have a high
After that, she could be a hoe.
nah, if you like I said, you know what I'm saying? In this scenario when you're more emotionally and more in your feelings when you're younger, you know what I'm saying? Those higher body count, you know what I'm saying, can alleviate long-term relationships when you're younger. If you slept with a bunch of guys young, you know what I'm saying? Because I said, is that fair that you are more emotional when you're younger?
If emotional is equivalent to you make bad decisions, yes.
Yeah. So if you're stacking these bodies up younger, then you have a hard time, you know what I'm saying, being with a man in a monogamous situation. If you stacked all these bodies up younger. Now look at it on the backside of it. You know what I'm saying? From 35 on out. Now you are trying to explore say that you're single, 35 out, and you're trying to figure out what you like. And when you finally learn your body and so forth, having you know what I'm saying, different, you know what I'm saying, partners or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you dials in, you know what I'm saying, what you like and so forth. Because that emotional connection ain't the biggest driver at that point. It's more about your satisfaction, I would assume. So that's my theory is when you're younger, body count matters because of your emotionals and connections. And when you're older, trying to learn your body and learn what you like, you know what I'm saying, do what you want to. That's my Robin Hood theory on it.
So are you saying either way it doesn't matter? Because that's what I think I'm hearing. Because I mean, you're saying you're giving them a pass when they're younger because they're younger and emotional, and you're giving them a pass when they get older. Not that there's a judgment in this pass, but because now they're older and they should be doing what turns them on, what they like.
Right. No, I'm not in the past. It's like I think a younger woman, your body count matters. Yes. So if you're a guy, you want to, if you're dating from 20 to 35, and then she's from 20, especially from 20 to 25, you want a lower body count than that, because too many, you know what I'm saying, bodies and that, you know what I'm saying, creates emotional, that eliminates some of that emotional connection. You know what I'm saying? She's, you know what I'm saying, in that age. But then if 35 and over, you know what I'm saying, if she start picking her body count up from 35 on. Say she's low body count in the first half, and then you meet her. She from 35 and she's 45, and then she slept with 10 guys in that realm or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I give her a pass for trying to figure out her likes and wants and so forth.
Okay, I give you that. Whoops, sorry, but I mean I give you that. But I'm not so sure. First of all, that's not a question women ask for the most part,
Of a
and
man.
most of the
Okay.
what did you
You
say? Or the man?
no no. You saying that the woman doesn't ask a man of their body count? Is that what you're saying?
For the most part, they don't.
Okay.
Because for two reasons. One, we really don't want to know. I don't think it matters.
Okay.
And if anything, your the health situation is probably a question more than a body count. Um, and two, I don't know if women believe a man is going to tell the truth.
Mm.
Once again, I don't think women we don't ask because ain't no point in just telling you lie to me because that's what y'all probably getting ready to do. You're getting ready to come with some little low number and you know you lying. So
No,
you
you
ain't no
lying. No,
point
you lying.
in trying to say, "Oh, I only been with 9 women." Yeah, last year, and
Nah, I
you
went my
50.
whole
Come
life.
on now,
I went my
you,
whole life.
your whole life it's only been 9 women, and we know 10 that you've been with. So you
You number 10. You know what I'm saying?
we know 10 people. We know of 10 people that said they slept with you. Matter of fact, you talking about you been with 9 and you got 12 baby mamas. So you can't be telling these lies. So
Right. Okay. So let me ask this: does if you can if a man has a low body count, and you can verify that, is that person seem more attractive, far as and more trustworthy, far as cheating and so forth, because they have a very low body count? Would you take that
first
in
of all,
consideration?
I'm telling you, no woman believes you with
Uh,
this low body
No,
count.
well, what if it's verifiable? What if it's verifiable and he slept with 10 women? Say he's 50 and he slept with 10 women in the last his adult life, and so does that in turn makes you feel more comfortable about your situation with him longevity wise?
No, that body count is not going to make me feel more comfortable. Him telling me about his previous relationships and some of them I can verify. That's what makes a woman more comfortable. A body count is not something we care about. But if you over there telling me that you cheated on every woman you've ever been with, that's what I care about. If you're telling me that you've been your last relationship you cheated, that's what I care about. I know women don't ask those questions because we don't want those questions asked back to us, and nobody's going to tell the truth anyway. But what we care about is if you are able to communicate to me that you're a healthy, non-toxic person. That's what women care about.
Okay. All right. So being a healthy, non-toxic person is what you care about. But also, so the lower body count, verifiable low body count, doesn't give you any comfort to know this person is not a wanderer versus a man
No, because
versus a
you
guy
could he
trying.
could be one. And a low body count don't mean you're not a wanderer. You could have been going back and forth between Vanessa and whoever for 10 years. For the hell we know, that doesn't tell me anything.
Uh,
You could still be a cheater. You could just been a cheated with the same 2 women you went back and forth to. That's not something you can count on.
okay, does it give you pause if a man has a high body count in that same scenario?
Well, first of all, you have a high body count. I'm just gonna look at side eye because I'm wondering what's wrong with you. We're gonna have a long, drawn out conversation about why you needed to sleep with, felt the need to sleep with so many women.
What if
And
what
then
what if
after
I'm
that,
dating?
oh,
What if
go ahead.
I'm dating and I want in a relationship? I'm just dating. Does that not in turn, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, does that not in turn fits that? I mean, an experience. So I mean, if you had a bunch of experiences with a bunch of people, I mean, does that in turn make them wrong?
It doesn't make him wrong. It makes me be careful because
Okay.
I don't know what you do that you just have dated and been sleeping with all these women. What you finna not do, one way or the other with me. You ain't finna sleep with me. Okay? I'm not getting ready to be one of your body counts. because I know you have a high body count. So to a degree, yeah, I am gonna judge a man where I'm not gonna probably judge my friends, but I'm gonna judge him for my own safety, so I don't entail develop feelings for somebody who is a stick and move person. That's not what you want to do as a woman. You don't want to start developing feelings, and this person told you, I sleep with a bunch of women, and that's what I do. Now, that's not wise. So women we have to start thinking about this a little bit different. Your friend, that's your friend. She can let her go do that if she want to do it. We may still have a conversation if that's her story too. Like, girl, why you keep sleeping with all these different people? What's going on? And
Right.
if she's saying I just like to get down, then I'm gonna accept that answer. But we're gonna
Mm-mm.
have the conversation. It's gonna be without judgment. But when it comes to me dating a man,
He can't
that's
give you that
gonna
same answer.
matter.
He can't give you that. I like to
No,
get
because
down.
I'm asking you what is wrong with you. If you like to get down, I'm not the woman for you.
Why wouldn't you ask your friend why she like to get down?
I just said I would
I'm
ask
not,
her
but
that.
you would do it in a non-judgmental way. But when it comes to a man, you judging him.
That's my friend. I love her. I don't know you. Ain't
Oh,
got
okay.
nothing to do with you.
So
That's
it's
your
a
friend and y'all problems.
so that's a time in part conversation. Then other than so if you don't know the woman and y'all having a general conversation. And but somebody else knows that's how you are having this conversation, and she's telling you that her body count's high. Then you're a judger.
No, I'm not gonna. And let me say this: if I had a guy friend and the same thing was the conversation, I'd feel the same way. I would still not judge him, but I would still ask him the same questions, like, "What's going on that you keep sleeping with all these different women, and you can't figure out that one's a relationship or not? You just like in having sex with different people." I would have that relationship, no conversation with that person, whether it was a male friend or a female friend. What I'm saying is, if there's a guy who's trying to talk to me
Okay.
and have that conversation, it's just a no from that point because I'm just like, I don't know what's going on with you, and I'm not going to be the one trying to figure it out with you. I'm sorry. No offense.
Okay, that's fair enough. That if that be that and so forth. Okay, so at the end of the day, body count matters if they're trying to talk to you.
Body count matters if a man has got a high and willing to say the truth about it. Body count. And you're trying to talk to me because now I just don't, I'm not going to be able to take you serious. It's not anything personal. It's that you've been with, let's say, 100 women.
100 women
Okay, let's say
over
you've
your
been with
adult life. The
over your
man's
adult life.
55. He's 55. Let's say adult life started at 20. You know what I'm saying? 18. We could no. We don't say no. We say 20. We don't say 20 to 55. So 35 years, and he's been with 100 women in 35 years. And so you're telling me that you would judge that man of those 100 women in 35 years?
I'm gonna ask him some serious. What is it that out of 100 women you couldn't marry one, you couldn't stay with one, one didn't qualify?
Right.
Because I'm thinking this: if out of 100 women you slept with and none of them qualified, what's gonna make me the qualifier? So why would I sleep with you? Because you just told me women you sleep with don't qualify for anything else with you.
Right.
That just makes me say don't sleep with him because certainly he ain't getting ready to have a long term committed relationship with you if you were telling me that's not what happened here. That's not a good selling tool.
Right. Okay. Okay. True. True. Okay. Okay. So you would need to know what was going on in his mindset to for 35 years. That's 420 weeks, and if you slept with 100 women, that's 4 women a week for every week. If you did it consistently, just flipping women. So and with that numbers, if you consistently did it that way, you would feel like this man. He just all he don't do is he just sticking and moving, hopping from
He's
bed to
sticking
bed.
and moving, and
Hop,
you know he's sticking and moving. And I'm not getting ready to be one of your victims of sticking and moving.
not the victim,
So
not the victim.
that's a victim. Keep it moving, sir.
Uh,
That's a no, sir. And furthermore, if we're on this conversation way early on, I'm probably never gonna talk to you when it's over either. Let me just put that out
right.
there.
Okay, so you think that if he comes up early about having sex and his, you know what I'm saying, what he's done and you done and so forth, you just think he's just trying to get in your jaws at that point.
I think people need to be careful about how soon you bring up sexual conversations with people you just met. Because it sounds like and looks like that's all you're thinking and wanting from them. So if that's what you're going to do, you ain't did nothing else to try to get to know them as a person.
Right.
At this point, any woman that accepts that needs to come see me, come talk to me, because you need some help, girlfriend.
Well,
Because that's not a conversation you need to have with somebody you just met.
so how long in a relationship should you wait to approach or broach that sexual conversation? How from meeting somebody from hi, my name is Mr. Rogers
Mr.
to
Right,
yeah,
Mr. Wrong.
yeah. How far it goes in before you can start touching the sexual conversation?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest because if I'm only seeing you once a week for 3 hours, we're not finna talk about sex no time soon. And for what? Because I don't even know where this is going to tell you anything sexual about me, and nor do I want to know anything sexual about you. It
Okay.
there. I don't think there is a time frame. I think there is a when you feel comfortable, like we really know each other, and this is going somewhere. Then we certainly you have to have the conversation at some point, but early on is not it for me. That's gonna get you blocked, and
So
y'all know I like to block people.
right. So does that conversation when it finally happens? That conversation goes about how does that approach? Is it how often you like to do it, or how you like to do it, or how does that you know what I'm saying from a female point of view? How does that conversation go when you finally feel comfortable enough
Look,
to have it?
I think men usually bring. Well, some women bring it up too. I don't know. Maybe those are the questions. I don't ask me. I haven't had that conversation and I don't know how long. So don't ask me what the conversation look like anymore.
Right. Okay. So yeah, but your point is this: it, it's got to be. It can't be like the first conversation y'all have or the second conversation. You need some more background story about the person you're talking to before you cross that line into what I'm saying what makes you feel good or not. The,
Look, I've had guys in the first conversation on the phone bring up something sexual. Here's what I do. They say something sexual. I say, you know what? I'm gonna have to call you back, and that's the end of me talking to you.
oh, okay. So they anything sexual.
You can't get
I like when you wear I like to see what I'm saying people wear this as a turn on to me and you be like, oh, let me call you back.
yeah, you go. It's to call you back. What's that got to do with getting to know me? Not a doggone thing. What does that have to do with me getting now? What I just learned about you, I don't want to know anymore. That's why I'm gonna call you back. Never, because I don't want to know somebody who is willing to. You just met me, and now we already talking about sex. That's a no, sir.
Okay, okay, all right. So Sharice's rule is to you need to know a little bit more about you before you
A
tell
lot
them
more.
what position you like.
That's a whole conversation for. We on a whole different path now. Before we start talking about somebody's sexual preferences and any of that stuff. Unless that's all you want. Now, if you came and that's what you want to do is just get down, good. Y'all have those conversations from day one. Y'all have the same agenda. That's cool.
Right.
But for somebody who's serious and the other party, whether it's the male or the female that's not, that's going to be a turnoff. Or I believe, you can quote, tell me if I'm wrong, if a man is not necessarily on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you meet a woman and she kind of is. Y'all going for it because she on that.
Okay.
But you don't see a future with her necessarily.
I'm not gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? There's been plenty of relationships out here where people had sex very early, first date, all that stuff, and end up being together forever and so forth. So it's hard to really put in there when these sexual conversations come up. 'Cause I know they can be disguised as what I'm saying that that's all you want from a person. But what if let me throw this out here? What if the last partner you had and there was mismatches in sexual appetites and sexual, you know what I'm saying, preferences? Do you think that if there was a mismatch there and that would ended the relationship, do you not think that, you know what I'm saying, you should figure out what's your sexual preferences and so forth up front before y'all go through the motions of who you are, where you come from, how you know what I'm saying, and then further along find that same mismatches?
First of all, I don't think it's about mismatches. I think it's about how open are you and willing to learn and do something different. If you find that that person says, I don't like change, I don't like doing things different, I am set in my ways, then you can assume safely that's probably going to be how they are. If you get to the bedroom and there's a bunch of stuff they got one way of doing it and they don't want to do nothing else. You don't have to ask sexual questions to get those answers, in my opinion.
But what about the yeah? I mean, as far as the mechanics and what if it's a penis size thing? You know what I'm saying? What if you don't like small ones and you want a guy that's got a big one, or vice versa? Maybe you don't like big ones, you want a small one. Don't you think you need to know that sooner before you return into a situation where you know what I'm saying you all into the person, and then when your clothes come off, you're like, damn, I need a big one, and you got a small one, and so forth.
If you are that superficial, you need to just be not dating and just start there.
But I mean,
For
no,
real.
like I said, but
I'm serious. If that's how superficial you are, it's all that matters to you. Start there. That way you can skip the dinners, the movies, the whining and dining. If that's what a relationship is to you, start right there.
I mean, like I said, it could be an important factor. In the example I gave, the person in the midline and so forth, you invested all this time, and this person not be what you wanted. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said start there. If that matters to you that much, start there. And then you can determine if you want to continue based on his size,
And
based
then
on his Arnold Palmer.
right, and then vice versa. For you know what I'm saying, fellas want a woman that you know what I'm saying, like this and like that, and got these skill sets, and the last person didn't have the skill sets, and it's the same thing, right? You need to figure out, okay, are we aligned here, and then we can figure out everything else outside of that.
I don't have a problem with somebody at some point saying, hey, the last person I dated did not like this, and this. And I don't want to move forward without somebody. I don't want to have necessarily a sexual conversation, but I am letting you know. Now, then that person can say, oh, well, I don't do B, C, and D that he said, you know what, we should just leave it right there.
Right, okay.
Because that's the risk that you take. If you want to know so bad, then put it out there and see if Susie decide that she's gonna be okay with some of those things you said, or is that gonna be a problem? And she can make an educated decision to say, you know what, Tommy, I don't really think I want to go out with you anymore. I already know we're not sexually compatible. I don't need a body count to get there. You told me you like some things that I know I'm not gonna do. I don't need to have an extra body count to be able to say this not gonna work.
There you go. Fair enough. So in
We
other
don't have to
words,
be frustrated.
so in other words, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the sexual thing early is if you want a relationship is something you should do. Can we agree on that?
It,
I know. I
I'm
know.
saying if your preference is something unique, like every man you want to be with as a woman, they have to be whatever size. You need to start there because if that guy, I promise you too, you tell a guy I only like somebody who is whatever size, and he know he's not that, he gonna leave you alone real quick. He
Or
gonna
he
just stop
or
calling.
he
Nope,
might say
he
I'm
ain't
that
got that.
side just to get in there. So
And then what are you gonna do when he not?
and then yeah, there you go. So
Because she's gonna be mad. She's gonna cuss you out. She's gonna want to go off or if something. That's not a good idea. But a lot of people are gonna say, "Well, I already know that's not gonna work with her," and vice versa. You telling a woman, "I like this, and this," and she was like, "No, I don't do any of that." She gonna probably leave you alone too in some cases. Because what's the point?
bro, like I said, so I with you. She ain't popping on the handstand. Hey, you can't. You know, what I'm saying your arms ain't strong enough. Then hey, I understand. We go our separate ways.
I want you to twist from that chandelier
Yeah.
and then drop it. And no, see,
How's your twerking? Can you
ain't
twerk?
nobody twisted from chandeliers and coming off of the edge of the no nobody doing all of that stuff. So we can talk about it and we can eliminate each other.
Right? You ain't got them good knees. Then you know what I'm saying, yeah, we can't do nothing. So in other words, I'm gonna wrap this up and say this that it, all conversations should be had up front. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that anything is off limits. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to determine is this a partner, is this a person you want to invest your time in? Because I think that, because like I said, you could misalign on your goals of life, like how y'all live your life, how clean your house, so forth, with all those stuff. All that stuff is important. Even your sexual preferences is all important. And I don't think that we should put our sexual preferences to the back burner. You know what I'm saying? And hope we get what we want and hope and leave it a chance. So
But Brandon, wait a minute. Before we end this show, I've known people who have said to a person, "Yep," they said, "I like so and so, so and so." Yep, me too. I like this, that, me too. And then they get down the aisle, as a matter of fact, and then they not doing those things they said me too. So
you gotta show me.
you
You gotta show me now. Oh, you like what I like? Oh, you like? Oh, okay. Bet. Okay. So you gonna do it? I need to see you do it 25 times before we get down to the aisle.
And even if they do it 25 times, they sit there going, as soon as I get to the aisle, that's the last time that's happening. Some things get ready to change. Now you stuck with them because you
I ain't
gave
stuck
them the
nothing.
blueprint.
I'll take you back to the aisle and
And now
drop you off.
you gonna reverse the aisle.
Yeah, we gonna moonwalk back down the aisle and we drop you off. Yeah.
But I mean, that's happened. I know people that happened to. I was like, well, did you know that she don't get down like that? Well, she said she do get down.
Well,
Like,
she
what
said,
did
but
you say?
he didn't experience it. He didn't get it 25 times. She
But
just said she gave him some mess like, well, you marry me, then you'll get it, and then never got it. You know, I didn't see it 25 times. You know, a successfulness of what. Yes, absolutely. Into his second nature in the relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so forth. 'Cause like I said, you could for example, before we end the show, you could have a high sex drive and then be talking to a person with a low sex drive, and y'all having this conversation, and then y'all check all these other boxes, and y'all in a relationship, and next thing you know, y'all are frustrated. Somebody's frustrated. And so forth. So I think that all conversations should be had up front.
I agree with how conversations should be had up front. I'm saying not on first, second, or third date, or where you're not in a committed relationship, because you've been told that person all your sexual preferences, and then y'all break up. Now, what's the point of that? So
I
I'm
mean,
just
it ain't like
saying,
the information
not
can be used against you.
necessarily so early.
T- t-
I'm saying
tell
not
it,
so
hey,
early.
tell her up front that you like, you know what I'm saying, whatever you like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, tell her up front, you know what I'm saying. Say that you want her to sit on your face every day. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or tell him up front that you want to pee on his leg in the shower. Whatever you like to do,
In the
put that
shower
up
like a
front.
dog.
Yeah, put that up front and let that be it.
You can't put that too far up front. I'm gonna stop talking to you.
Yeah,
I ain't lying. You gonna get blocked.
yeah. Well, you can't say it the streets. You gotta surprise her with a bunch of stuff she don't like later, and then she might, and then guess because she checked the other boxes, she might still let you. You know what I'm saying? Do one of them on your birthday.
Whatever,
Yeah,
Brandon.
yeah. And with that being said, this has been Bar Talk After Dark.
The
Like,
dark
subscribe,
lit.
comment, tell us if body count matters to you and how early you like to have your sexual conversations. And with that
Don't
being said,
do it.
we'll say peace.